Hello, you! It's been far too long. Joe Goldberg, Penn Badgley, resident serial killer with a penchant for baseball caps and pretentious literature, is back for the newest season of You. But this time, he's got a new name, new city, and new objective. Surprisingly, and thankfully, Joe's newest target is not yet another poor, unsuspecting woman. Instead, Season 4 of You finds Joe actually being the one on the defense as he frantically tries to figure out the identity of the Eat-the-Rich killer. A mysterious stranger who kills off members of the Oxford circle of wealthy snobs with whom Joe finds himself surrounded. Oh, and the killer also happens to know Joe's true identity and entire murderous past. So much for Joe's relaxing vacation in the UK. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll tell you about the popular Netflix TV show, You. But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more similar content. Let's dive in. The end of Season 3 saw Joe on the run after murdering his wife, Love, Victoria Pedretti, faking his own death, and leaving their newborn son behind. The start of Season 4 sees Joe in London with a brand new identity, Professor Jonathan Moore, a college instructor of American short fiction. He is surrounded by a new cast of eccentric characters, a group of friends who met as students at Oxford. The Oxford gang is everything that Joe hates. Filthy, rich elitists who inherited fame and fortune without having to lift a finger. Every season of You up to this point has been set in a different city, each with its own unique cast of characters who border on caricatures. Season 4 is no different. Just as Season 2 captured the stereotypes of the granola LA hipsters and Season 3 showcased the toxic wasteland of momfluencers, Season 4 delves into the world of the rich and royal. There are certainly some standouts in You's new support cast. Charlotte Ritchie gives a beautiful depth to her character Kate, who may be a member of the elite, but has an emotional backstory that balances out her initial Ice Queen act. Tilly Keeper is an absolute delight as Lady Phoebe, who may be royalty, but lacks the cruelty and inhumanity of her wealthy peers. Keeper's comedic timing is perfect, but like Richie, she brings a distinctive emotional touch as a woman who, underneath all the wealth, feels truly alone and misunderstood. Ed Spaliers also gives a stellar performance as author Riz Montrose, the unexpected member of the Oxford group due to being born into poverty. As a whole, the new supporting cast works well against Joe, but does often lean a bit too hard into the hyperbolic. Granted, You has always delivered an over-the-top cast of characters, but perhaps there's only so much you can do with royalty before it loses its comedic appeal. The Oxford gang is simply not as memorable as the likes of Sherry, Shalita Grant, and Carrie, Travis Van Winkle, Conrad, true MVPs of Season 3, or even artisanal soda bro Benji, Blue Taylor Pucci back in Season 1. And, of course, there's no one quite like Love Quinn. Pedretti's gorgeous, chilling performance as Love breathed new life into You. So when she met her untimely end last season, it was hard to imagine how the series might survive without her. And here's the truth. You let go of its beating heart with Love, Joe's perfect match, and you do feel her absence in Season 4. Without Pedretti, there is the sense that there is something missing. All of that said, however, Season 4 proved that You can still be good without Love because of one key reason. It finally broke its tried and true formula. Aside from Pedretti's unforgettable performance in the last two seasons, Love's introduction to the series worked so well because she offered Joe his first real adversary, the mirror image of himself. She turned the tables on Joe and disrupted what we assumed would be another Beck, Elizabeth Lale 2.0 situation. Stalk, charm, kill. With the Season 4 trailer showing Joe chasing Marion, Tati Gabrielle, through the streets of a new city, it was easy to assume that we are going back to the basics. Was Marion another Beck, albeit much cooler and a lot less whiny? Or would Season 4 just be another season of Joe obsessively stalking the same woman every episode? Season 4 avoids this by making Joe the target. His familiar narration that guides the show is no longer delivered with twisted adoration for a woman, but a simmering resentment for a stranger who is hell-bent on making sure he gets his hands dirty by giving in to his murderous impulses. This creates not only a fresh twist on an established formula that You has maintained for 3 seasons, but also gives us the chance to look deeper into Joe's warped sense of self. Throughout the season, he is appalled at the eat the rich killer's actions, clearly viewing himself as morally superior, despite the fact that the killer is simply doing the same exact thing Joe has done for the past 3 seasons. How dare someone stalk him and find out every detail of his life? Joe is enraged at this stranger's audacity, emphasizing Joe's utter delusion and wildly distorted image of himself as the tragic hero who only does what he does for love. The second half of Season 4 is admittedly stronger than the first. Part 2 gives us what You does best. Just when you're thinking, this is good but it needs something, You gives it to you. You is the master of twists, and Season 4 is no exception. While the first half of Season 4 is certainly fun to watch, there is a sense that something else must be going on here. Ever since Season 2, You has never settled. It always finds a way to pull the rug out from underneath its audience. At the end of Season 2, we learn that Love is not who Joe thinks she is, and certainly not who he thought she was either. It left us with the complicated question: is Love just as bad as Joe? Is she redeemable? Then in Season 3, You once again did the unexpected. Just as we thought there was a new You with Joe's new neighbor, the mysterious woman across the fence, Michaela McManus, Love gave her the axe, literally at the end of episode 1. Just when we assumed we knew the overarching narrative, You flipped it on its head. What can you expect from Season 5? Will Joe receive his own stalker? Over the past 4 seasons, Joe has stalked many people, including himself, but the object of obsession has been limited to a small pool of people: Beck Love, Marianne, and the imagined Reese. With Joe now being a subject of great fascination in the media, perhaps it's about time Joe becomes stalked. Will Joe now kill for fun? Logically, other than anyone threatening him or Kate, Joe has no further justification to murder anyone. However, this is Joe we're talking about, which means some poor unfortunate or deserved soul will cross his path eventually and end up dead. Deep down, Joe likes to kill. It's only now, with Kate's power and influence, does he have the opportunity to murder with impunity. Knowing he's protected, Joe may get sloppy as he looks for any reason to chase the thrill of the kill, especially if he can justify it through some virtuous self-reasoning, such as protecting himself and Kate. Well, we'll all have to wait until Season 5 drops on Netflix, probably next year. That was all from us today, folks. For more similar content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.